Premier League 2021-22, Toffee Rafa, Kane in limbo and points to prove for Sancho and Lukaku. The new Premier League season has not even begun yet, and we're already enjoying some enthralling narratives. Beyond the mundane matter of who might win the league, who will beat the drop, and how thick the VAR lines will be, there are some tantalizing stories we'll be following closely in the coming weeks. Below, Stats Perform takes a look at some of the big talking points. Blue Benitez predicting football is often a fool's game, especially in an era when Lionel Messi no longer plays for Barcelona, but Rafael Benitez at Everton. Who saw that coming? The Spaniard is back in the Premier League 2 years after walking away from Newcastle United, having been tempted by the same project that won over Carlo Ancelotti before the lure of a Real Madrid return became too great. Benitez was a fan's favourite at Newcastle, arguably as much as he was at Liverpool, where he reached 2 Champions League finals including the unforgettable triumph in Istanbul. His connection to the red half of Merseyside meant his decision to head to Goodison Park raised the eyebrows of some and the blood pressure of others. In fact, only one man has ever managed both clubs, William Edward Barclay, Everton's first boss in 1888 and Liverpool's manager from 1892. We'll forgive you if you don't remember. The scrutiny on Benitez, who has recorded 11 wins against Everton in his coaching career, will be severe. He has the credentials, but if he cannot quickly prove he is the man to realise the dreams of owner Farhad Moshiri and challenge the Big Six, the pressure could become pretty uncomfortable. Virgil return lifts Reds for a while, it seemed everything would be okay. In the first 11 games after Virgil van Dijk was injured against Everton last October, Liverpool conceded just 6 goals and kept as many clean sheets. Perhaps the loss of the Netherlands Colossus would not be quite so damaging. Of course, as injuries in defence piled up and confidence in their title chances waned, Liverpool's season ended up being one of major disappointment, even though a strong final few weeks saw them snatch a Champions League spot. Van Dijk's impact cannot really be disputed. Since his move to Anfield in January 2018, Liverpool have won 75.8% of matches with the centre-back in the side and only 54.3% without him. They average 2.4 points per game with him, compared with 1.9 without, and even score more goals on average, 2.3 compared with 1.8, when he's playing. No wonder fans began to count down the days to his return. On Saturday, we can finally expect to watch Van Dijk in competitive action again, with Jurgen Klopp confirming he is fit to start the season. He could even begin his partnership with new signing Ibrahima Konate against Norwich City at Carrow Road. How Liverpool's campaign progresses over the opening few weeks and how Van Dijk's return goes might just tell us whether another title tilt is on the cards. Remember us? 2 of the biggest transfers in this pre-season have seen stars returning to England: Jadon Sancho, who finally got his Manchester United move for £72.9 million a year after Borussia Dortmund had demanded a sizably bigger sum, and Romelu Lukaku, who is heading to Chelsea for roughly £93 million. Sancho left Manchester City for the Bundesliga as a teenager and promptly became one of Europe's standout attacking players, with 50 goals and 57 assists in 137 appearances. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted a player to get fans on their feet, and he's almost certainly found it. Sancho completed 48 multi-take-ons, beating more than one player with a dribble in the Bundesliga, at least 14 more than any other player in his time in Germany. For Lukaku, it's a case of unfinished business at Chelsea, the club he left back in 2014. The standout performer for Inter last season, with 30 goals and 11 assists in all competitions, he propelled his side to their first Serie A title since 2010, before taking up the chance to return to Stamford Bridge, where a consistent goalscorer could be decisive to their Premier League title hopes. Sancho and Lukaku initially struggled to convince managers to give them a shot as youngsters in the Premier League. Their return as elite players determined to prove a point. Given the costs involved, the pressure will be on both to perform and quickly. Did Jack hammer Harry's City hopes? Manchester City are not exactly frugal in the transfer market, but rarely will they willingly pay over the odds for an individual. That's what made their willingness to spend £100 million on Jack Grealish, a player with 12 senior international caps and 0 Champions League experience, a touch surprising. This is not to suggest Grealish is not a good player, of course. This is a man who was involved in a remarkable 376 open play attacking sequences over the past 2 seasons for Aston Villa, a team who finished 17th and 11th in those campaigns. It's just notable that Pep Guardiola felt it was warranted to smash City's transfer record by nearly £40 million to sign yet another midfielder, especially given what's going on or not going on with Harry Kane. Kane was expected to be City's marquee signing in this window, but, as of now, his future is unclear. He is finally due to return to Tottenham training this week, but whether he is involved against City in their opening game is harder to know. And if City were willing to spend 9 figures on Grealish, you can expect Spurs chairman Daniel Levy to demand top dollar for last term's Golden Boot winner, who has 3 years left on his contract. Will City stump up the cash? Will Kane try his best to force Spurs' hand? Will he be staying in North London for at least a few months more, his form undimmed, the goals flowing as normal? It will be fascinating to watch.